Hello everyone and welcome to our show. Today we discuss about marketing channel, how you can find your marketing channel. And I'm excited to discuss this topic with Alex Genadinik. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's a big pleasure to learn from you. We are from one city. It's interesting. It's the first time in my podcast episodes because I had more than 100 guests. Well-known guests, Ren Fishkin, Neil Patel, many others. It's hard to name all of them, but I never had any guests from Odessa, so it's my first time. It's a big pleasure. uh, yeah, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you decided to take this topic.
Sure. Well, by training, I'm a software engineer, and I used to work at companies doing software engineering. But I always used to have some business ideas, and when you're a software engineer, all your business ideas are very bad. And as soon as you can make things, you can make websites, but it's really hard to when the website is ready, what to do then? How do you promote it?
Mhm.
And so a long time ago, I realized, oh, like if I just learn marketing, if I just learn SEO, um, I started with SEO. Then
Mhm.
I can just take complete control. I don't have to rely on anybody because relying on people is so bad. Some people don't are not that helpful. Some people who are helpful are not that good, and some people who are helpful and good are expensive. And it's just
Mhm.
very hard to find a perfect combination. And so I was bouncing around between people who were experts, and I had no idea about marketing. So I just I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to figure this out myself. And then I realized, oh my god, like this is kind of the great equalizer, right? Like if you can just make yourself good at marketing, you can do anything you want, right? You can
Mhm.
build your business any way you want. So I actually started really focusing on marketing and making myself good at it. And by virtue of becoming better at it, my businesses that I was running started doing better.
Mhm.
So whether I was doing YouTube long time ago, or mobile apps long time ago, or Udemy now, which is some of my biggest work, or whatever I'm started doing, I always have used that marketing. And the more I learn, the more I teach it now. And because now I
Mhm.
mostly teach the stuff, I do it myself, but I also teach it.
Mhm.
And so when you teach, you kind of learn twice. And so
Uh-huh.
it's been, so to sum up years and years in just a couple of minutes, that's sort of it. And so for me, it's really, I almost think of it as the great marketing is like the great equalizer. If you can do marketing, you can do anything.
Yeah, love it, love it. And I completely agree with you about that. About teaching, for example, when I learn something, I need to share because after sharing, I can memorize the content, and then I need to act. Without acting, you don't know what actually. Works for you, so I often see when someone is overlearning without doing something, when you for example, you can read 100 books about how to play soccer, and if you don't play soccer you can't be a
Yeah.
good soccer player. Yeah, you can read 100 books about how to play chess, but if you don't actually play, how you can be a good
Yeah.
chess player?
By the
You
way,
need. Yeah.
if you from Odessa using soccer examples is painful. The soccer team is not so good. Yeah.
When I was a student, yeah, I spent some time, visited stadium Chernomorets, in Odessa.
Yeah.
But then I've learned one study: if your team is not playing good, it can hurt your feeling. So I decided to stop watching.
That team is never good. It's almost never good.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the perfect combination. I think I often get the question, oh, what is the best combination? What is the best channel? What is I don't know. It depends on your priorities, your preferences, your strong sides. For example, if you are good with Instagram, so do this channel. If you're good with SEO, jump there. Yeah, yeah, it's better to consider your strong sides, your unique selling proposition, and then jump there. Can you tell, for example, if someone started from scratch, how to find the right channel, the best channel for them, if you have no experience with that?
Okay, I would add a little bit. I think my answer might, maybe I'll add to the way you answered it. So, if you're promoting some kind of big software to big companies, for six figures, Instagram would not be it. Even if you are amazing in Instagram, you know, people want to see your pictures. You're not going to sell to the Fortune 500 companies because you're cool on Instagram, right? So I think, like any field, if you study the science of any field, there's patterns. In software engineering, there's patterns. In marketing, there's patterns. In anything, patterns. And patterns are like set ways of just doing things that people before you have established and figured out. So you have to look for patterns. This would be my first thing. So if you're selling to a Fortune 500 company, there is a pattern, and I'll get into specifics of what it is, but there is a pattern. If you're selling a widget on Amazon, there is a pattern, and your job is to find the pattern. Like, and it's, you know, some people say, oh, I'm going to give you my 3-step blueprint for getting rich. I'm not talking about that. It sounds very similar, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, for example, you know, if on Amazon, it's a very easy example. How do people sell on Amazon? Search and recommendation, right? So if you go to Instagram and you try to sell on Instagram, sure, you can sell some items, but it's not the most effective pattern. Yeah, because let's say you're selling socks and you're ranking number 1 in Amazon search for socks. You're running ads that are the best for socks. You're getting recommended for socks. You don't need to do anything else. You're going to retire from that, right? But if you're on Instagram, you're going to have a boring, like, you know, you don't want to be posting about socks. Like, it's boring. You don't want it. And it's every day you have to do stuff about socks and you have no idea what to do. You start to hate socks, you know, like, no more socks. Next Instagram channel is bare feet, you know? So, like, you have to find the most, basically, this is we're joking, but like, the idea is that if you find the most effective pattern and you execute it to your best ability, meaning you don't do a lot of things, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, blah, 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 that's this focus, you're going to do a bad job. The value of finding the most effective thing, like Amazon SEO, be number 1. Okay, for socks, you're going to make $1 million+ dollars. Okay, great. If you're going to sell socks on Instagram or Twitter, you're going to be homeless. In most cases, you can still sell some socks, enough for McDonald's. Right?
Yeah.
Like, or fancy restaurant every once in a while, but like fancy McDonald's. But you're not going to be a millionaire in almost any case. Whereas if you're number 1 for some good Amazon keywords, you're going to be making, maybe not a millionaire, but like, you're going to be making some good money. And it's just find the pattern. If you don't know the pattern, find an expert. But you really should be the expert, because why are you in this business?
Yeah.
Like, there are people who just like wake up in the morning and they're like, I'm going to sell on Amazon. If you're like that, okay, it's your first day on anything, which is fine. Find an expert, a real one, not I'm an expert. That expert should explain to you, this is the pattern. If the expert tells you, go to Facebook, go to Amazon, go to run ads, and go to YouTube, that's not an expert. Like, yeah, they also don't know. But there's somebody who'd be like, oh, you're selling a widget on Amazon, you're selling socks, here you go. You're selling to Fortune 500 companies, this is exactly what you should do. Don't do anything else. Do that. This would be me.
Yeah, interesting. And by the way, guys, if you are selling socks on Instagram,
Let us know.
we don't wanna hurt your feeling, you know. just you know, consider multi-channel approach. For example, if Instagram works for you, why not? So go ahead with it. But you can search for other channels. By the way, I don't like to have one channel, because it, you know, all social media platforms, search systems, they change approaches, features, and if something works today, it doesn't mean it will work forever. You know, if you have the first position in Google, it doesn't mean that Google will stick this position for you. It's yours. And yeah, of course, you need to be better than your competitors at any platform. Can you tell how to create a marketing strategy today? For example, okay, if someone has channels, you know, where to pay more attention, the second step to create strategy. Can you tell more about that?
Yeah. Can I make actually I don't know if this is going to answer your question, but I want to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
To what you just said. Can I
Okay.
Can I say that the exact opposite is true?
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay?
I think for me, yeah, everything depends. For example, if something works for you, I know some people can earn $1 million on Instagram. By selling not socks, other clothes, but yeah, they're good with that because they can pay money for pretty girls. They can put these clothes and yeah, to sell it. It works well if they have 1 million followers. And many other stuff. So I think it depends. And when you ask them why you don't use SEO, they don't need SEO. They don't need some other channels because they have some well-working channel. Of course, they can extend to other platforms, and I think the best way for them to choose Pinterest or related platforms. But they are good with one channel. Of course, it's better to have multi-channel approach, but as you mentioned before, it's better to hire expert. Find specialists who can, who know other platforms, who can lead you in the right direction. So it's my point of view.
Yeah, so I think that the idea of focus,
Mm-hmm.
there's that argument of focus versus the argument of multiple eggs in multiple baskets, right? Because if you
Mm-hmm.
focus, you have all your eggs in one basket. Oh no. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't focus, you have multiple eggs that get less attention each one, worse
Mm-hmm.
results on each one. So this
Mm-hmm.
is which one, right? So my argument is almost always singular
Mm-hmm.
focus. Give it,
Mm-hmm.
find the best one, because usually the results, like on the second and third platform, the results aren't proportionally worse. They are geometrically worse, like exponentially worse. So
Mm-hmm.
like if you sell socks on Amazon, the second place to sell, maybe Google search. The third place to sell is like almost not in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is really, I would find the most effective place,
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really focus there. Forget uh, diversification in here, for example. And even if
Mm-hmm.
you're ranking for SEO, the biggest problem can be not that Google changes, but because of the disfocus and you only giving SEO like a fifth of the effort, your competitors jump over you in the SEO, which was the most important thing to defend. So I guess my argument would be that, yeah, you're going to end up being in multiple places naturally, because that's how internet sort of works. But generally, the focus should be on, like, you really have to allocate like 80-20. 80% of the effort should be on like 20% of the strategies that are the best. And I guess that leads to your question, like, how do you create a strategy?
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah.
strategy is a pattern. Like, you should not have to create a strategy at all. You should not have to, because it's known in almost all
Mm-hmm.
cases. How do you become like Instagram influencer? It's known. Just
Mm-hmm.
do well what the other people are doing. The only time it's not known, it really, the only time it's not known is when you have a innovative startup. Airbnb, when they started, it wasn't known. There was no pattern. Uber, actually, it was kind of known because they fall into a pattern. They fall into, like, you have two kinds of audiences and you got to populate them both. It's kind of like dating, right? The drivers and the passengers are dating. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
have critical mass of. So this is a critical mass pattern which existed before because of dating sites. So they actually, even they were super innovative, did not have to innovate that much in marketing, because in the marketing strategy, because it was known because of the dating sites. That was, like, okay, Cupids and all this back in that
Mm-hmm.
era.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what people are using now. So very rare that you have to create a strategy. It's known. If you have to
Mm-hmm.
create one, like, it's like recreating the wheel, like,
Mm-hmm.
literally. It's gonna go wrong. Like, you're not gonna do it well, probably. So I think you need, study the leaders in whatever you want to do. Study who's successful, get their advice, get their coaching. But what you have to do is make sure that the experts you ask are actually experts, because everybody's going to offer a really bad opinion. Like, the bad opinions and bad advice, it's so overwhelming. Like, I'm in a lot of teaching groups because I teach on Udemy, and like right now I think I'm somewhere around top 1% instructor, however you count, but somewhere like that. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I ask questions in the public forums and the people don't know me. Like, they don't really know the other instructors. It's an instructor group, and like beginner instructors give me all kinds of advice, and they have so much confidence giving me wrong advice. Very confident, very more confident than I am. But like and it's shocking. And to me, that was like a real like kind of like alert or like shock, right? Like, okay, taking advice from people on the internet, bad idea unless you really know them.
Mhm.
So instead of like the big public groups, find people who you really respect, who are helpful and want to help and good at helping, and like have a few criteria and actually know what they're talking about. And if they don't know, they will tell you, I'm not sure about this, because a lot of people like don't have that in there, like never say I don't know, but it's professional to
Mhm.
say when you don't know, you should say. So I think
Yeah.
that's closer. Like, if I I have a hobby, music, like
Mhm.
I have to promote it on YouTube, and I know YouTube marketing. I have YouTube for like done it since 2012, so I know, but I don't know the fine points of my niche.
Mhm.
So I tried to create my own strategy, but it wasn't like great. It was okay. It was so I just hired an expert who was like one of the guys who was like a million followers, a million subscribers,
Mhm.
and he told me things that I didn't know. So it's basically just these things are known, just not to you perhaps. So don't create a strategy. Go and get it from the best.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I like that you mentioned about focusing. You remind me when I started to promote my English channels, because, for example, when I grew my Ukrainian YouTube channel, we got huge SEO traffic in Ukraine and other Russian-speaking countries, and then I decided to move to English-speaking countries to grow my business there, and I try to cover Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything, and I got like 5 followers a day, maximum 10, but then I switch my attention to LinkedIn alone and got like 200 followers a day, a lot high engagement, and I got it. No way. If I spend time everywhere, it's like jack of all trades. You can't be successful everywhere. You can't know all algorithms. But if you are good with one channel, you can hire experts, delegate tasks to other channels. For example, to repurpose content, to cooperate with experts who know other channels, search for them, learn from them, tell about your preferences, unique selling proposition, and why not? At that point, you can jump and cover other channels if you cooperate with experts. But I agree completely that it's better to focus in one channel where you are good, to become the best. Even if you the best, it doesn't mean that you will be the best. The competitors will be try to overcome you to be the best instead of you. So yeah, it's fierce competition. You need to develop and innovate all your approaches and cooperate with other experts. Love it. Yeah, agree with that. Can you tell more about Udemy? I'm interested. For example, if I submitted my course in Russian language. Like, I don't remember exactly. Like 6 months ago, we sold 100 lessons, courses, and but I found that in English-speaking countries, in the US, Canada, you can send a lot more. Like 100,000 courses. Can you tell how to succeed on this platform? How to grow organically on these platforms? Uh, can you tell more about videos, content, what kind of content to create, how to structure this content, logical change, more about that, about Udemy, how we can grow that?
Okay, so on Udemy, the most popular niches are ones that help other people make money somehow, get a better job, start a business, do some freelancing somehow. So if you're teaching yoga, yeah, you can make a little money, but
Mhm.
not really. So, and within the topics that help other people make money, engineering, software programming is number one. They
Mhm.
really they say, Udemy says, we are a platform where you can learn anything, but internally they know like 90 or 85% of their revenue it probably comes from something like technology courses related, technology / design or something. That's huge. Like, and then there's like professional skills. Excel. I think the biggest courses on Udemy today is Excel and Python programming, and maybe some other like Java programming. And if you teach those topics and you're the best at those topics, you're probably making like $200,000 a month or some crazy monthly, like really impressive amount. And then the drop off is pretty steep, but from a good height, so it's still pretty good. So then there's topics like business, marketing. Those topics, they tend to have, it's easier to get into those topics. Anybody can make like a SEO course or Twitter marketing course or something like that. So it's very competitive, and then becomes a problem of competition. And so for competition, again, it's essentially the Amazon algorithms or the YouTube algorithms very much resemble the Udemy algorithms. And most courses are sold through their algorithms. The search algorithm, people searching for courses like Java programming, if you're the number one Java course, but if you're on the third page, it's not good. Kind of like, it's very similar to selling socks on Amazon. It really, because these algorithms can't be that different. It's like search, browsing of categories, and recommendations. And you should, as a pattern, as what should be the strategy, most people will think like, I'm going to promote to my audience, and you already have an audience, so it was fine. But most people don't have an audience, so they're like, I need to make an audience, and I need to go on Facebook, and I need to go on Twitter, and I need to go on Instagram, make an audience. But then they sell like one copy to this new audience, and then they get frustrated and quit because it's the wrong pattern, really. Of course, if you have an audience, it's great, but the pattern is to be number one, the most recommended, the highest in search, and and rise in the categories. That's how consumers who actually want to take your course will find you. So there's really three algorithms, and Udemy gives instructors like analytics of where students come from. And I think something crazy like 80%, I think like 80% of all the sales, I think, don't quote me on it now, but some extremely disproportionate amount of sales come from these three sources. And you don't have to think, if you're doing well there, you don't have to, like, I'm not on Twitter, I'm not promoting on Facebook, I'm not really doing anything. I'm doing like little things here and there, but it's not my focus. So yeah, but
I think I check out SEO courses on Udemy, and some mentors can sell like 300,000 courses, so not bad. I don't know about web development, probably a lot more, but even 300,000, it's a lot, yeah, it's good money also. So I have this goal to create my course, but I think even if I have a loyal audience, it's not enough to share about your course, because I think if Mr. Beast can share about his course, a million people will buy it.
Yeah.
If Gary Vee shares his new book, if I remember, he sold like 1 million copy for one day. He used one interesting sales technique. If you buy like 12 books, you can get 12 NFT, so he used the process and he sold 1 million copies for one day. But if you have a loyal audience, but I think it's not enough. It's better to use some paid marketing or other channels or influence marketing or referral links, many other stuff. What do you think about coupons? For example, I know that if you share coupons, you can give a strong reason to buy your course with discount. Does it help with organic reach on Udemy or not?
Yeah, I think it does less now than before because they keep on changing the algorithm and it's a little hard to keep tracking. If your course is good, and if your course is naturally going to get like a 4.6 or 4.7 star or 4.5 at the least, not less. If you 4.4 is not good now, which is really good, but it's for not for Udemy because it's so competitive. Especially in any kind of good niche, you'll see the top courses are 4.7, 4.6. If your course is good enough to get this rating from people who don't even care about your topic, because people who, when you give it away, people take it, let's check this out, course about yoga or course about programming, I don't really care about it, but let me see, those kinds of students, right? They don't even care. They're bad students. Like, they're not bad like as people, but like they are going to on average leave you slightly worse reviews because they're less invested. They're not that interested. So if you can take a worse quality student and interest them and engage them and really make them all go like, wow, like I'm really learning, this is getting me somewhere, which is going to end up resulting in that high rating. Then giving away good reviews, giving away free courses, really good strategy. Of course, Udemy is limiting that now. They only allow like 1,000 enrollments per free coupon, and you only get like 3 coupons per month. There's a lot of like little details, but yes, if you can get, on the other hand, most courses, they will get so knocked down by the bad reviews. If your course is just good, never mind, most courses by first-time instructors are not that good, because people think because they're expert, they're good teachers, but it's a very different thing. It takes years to become a good teacher as well, which is something I learned after years of being a bad teacher when I started, right? And so every year I had to improve, and I'm like, oh yeah, last year I was really bad. So a lot of this process, and then I look at new teachers and I'm like, wow, this is really bad. So
It's interesting. Yeah, I remember when I started to post on social media, even to film a few videos, my first videos, and when I got this hating, you're not good. What are
it's
you
always so
doing?
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, stop doing this, just find something else. And luckily I didn't listen to them. I just go ahead with something that works for me. I think if your content is not good for someone, so you can get experience. It's more important than anything else, and you
Yeah.
can improve a little bit step by step, and in one shiny day all these haters will be your fun. Not everyone, okay, someone will be haters the whole time. That's okay. You can't satisfy everyone. We have interesting saying in marketing: if you sell to everyone, you sell to no one. Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting. I opened your website, problemio.com, that we can see on the screen, and on the first screen I can see coach plus 1,000 entrepreneurs, taught 500,000 plus students. Can you tell how you can teach 1,000 entrepreneurs? It's a lot. Just share more your insights, how you can do it, your approaches. And when I scroll down, I can see so many books. Man, you wrote these books?
Yeah. I mean, it's taken some
Nice.
years. It's not like I woke up one day and it just happened. It's taken some years, but it's not that many if you look at the years.
Today I wrote one book. Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, like, wake up in the morning. Today I decided to write a new book,
Yeah, it's
and
not like
yeah,
that.
to finish it.
No, actually, the books took a while. Especially, it's one thing to write a book; it's a different thing to write a good book, and it's a different thing to actually
Yeah.
make it successful. Like, my first book that started selling well was the sixth one that I wrote. It's kind of similar to, and even that one had like a bunch of revisions already. Like it took a while. But I have a popular, like, one of my books is quite popular. It's used in a few universities where I went there, I gave some talks. I'm like, wow, they like my book, cool. But it just took so much work for the books. But it really, over the years, these numbers, it's not like if it was in one day it was amazing, but like, it just, if you get a couple of coaching clients every day, they don't have to stay coaching clients with you for a long time, but you just coach a lot of people a little bit, even, it just really adds up, because there's so many days a year, so many years, it actually becomes like pretty reasonable numbers. I think the numbers are actually the coaching numbers are actually probably more than 2,000. I think it just sounds ridiculous at some point, so I stopped adding the numbers. I stopped like incrementing them because it doesn't sound right. But I think it's social proof. These numbers are like social proof, which, in marketing you have to be like, wow, zeros, a lot of zeros. But it's like you wake up the same, you work, you try to get a little better every day, and kind of do your thing.
Okay, can you tell how to write a book? I have this goal. I'm
Yeah.
interested about that because I love writing. Yeah, I think it's better to practice day by day, like to write plus 1,000 words a day. I took this approach from Jack London. He wrote on his books 100 years ago about that, and I decided to practice a lot with writing because I love this experience. But I think for me, writing a book is the next level because yeah,
Do you
I
want to
can
write
write
like a
posts.
creative book or like a how-to book? They're very different.
I don't know. I think the first book will be about marketing because I
Marketing.
know this channel much better than any other channels. I love many books, science fiction, many different formats. I can tell that
I feel
marketing
like
and
people from
sales.
Odessa are all poets in some way,
Yeah.
right? Would that be partially correct?
uh, Possible. you know,
Possible. At least we think this about ourselves.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Y-
for sure.
you know, for example, uh, uh, about writing book. For example,
Yeah.
I if I'm going to write a book, the first book will be about the topic that I know good enough because for me, I'm a student in my life. I can't tell that I'm an expert at any niches. I just keep going, love what I'm doing, go ahead with that. And yeah, the first book will be about marketing. But can you tell, you wrote like I can see 10 books, probably even, yeah,
I have some like 20 books, but big numbers. Like they're not important. I have out of these 20 books, I have one book that's really popular. That business
Mhm,
plan book. That's the one that's used in a few like major universities. Like
mhm.
I used to go there. Now I do Zoom with them. Um, but like
Can you share this book on private chat? I'll share with my audience. Yeah,
yeah.
in the
Let me
description.
find it. Let me get the Amazon link.
Yeah, cool.
So in that book, it's like 20 revisions.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a lot of people, they're like, I hate haters. I don't like people who criticize my book. I hate haters, all this, right? I mean, I love them because they tell me, I mean, I don't like the reviews that they post, like publicly. They can just tell me privately. I don't like a lot of things that it hurts my feelings sometimes. But these 20 revisions, at least 10 of them came from, I think, in some way, somewhat correct assessments of readers that I'm like, okay, I'll fix that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think everybody who writes their book thinks it's amazing, and then usually it sucks. And then revision. I think there's a severe and profound underestimate of how many drafts you have to do and redo. So if you like
Mm-hmm.
writing, only when you really hate it, this that you did enough revisions. Like when
Yeah,
you really don't want to look at it again,
uh-huh.
and then you come back and revise it again, and then again and again, and then you really hate it, then maybe you're done.
Yeah.
That's your like first draft you can share live. Of course, uh, in the startup slash online entrepreneur world, if you launched at a point, there's a saying like if you launched at a point where you're proud of it, you launched too late.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't do what I'm sharing with you. I did like I wrote this book is now something like 200 pages. I don't know. I don't remember, but I wrote like a 30-page version of it or 50-page. Boom, live on Amazon. Started marketing, started promoting. And then while I'm promoting it, I'm adding pages. I'm like taking feedback, but I'm promoting it, right? I'm like, so it's like, okay, growing in search rankings, still not good. Um, and I'm keep adding, there's like a million revisions, and then the revisions just slow down. Like I'm like, okay, it's in a good place where even the haters are not that hateful, and there's not that many haters, and there's like a lot of, I don't know if I want to say lovers, but like people seem to appreciate it. And I stopped having to, at first you have to ask for reviews and everything. I stopped having to do that. And it just kind of lives on its own. And again, it's not my focus, because my focus is, I have only two things I'm focused on now: Udemy, and I have a side of my business that is not visible, but it's very significant. It's I create online course programs for companies.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're a company and you were like, okay, I want to sell courses, oh no, we don't have courses to sell, because it's a good product to sell, but it takes a while to create. You need talent, you need
Yeah.
equipment, you need studio space. And I'm like, hey, I got the courses, you can have it overnight for a fee. So I have the service that is very nice because I already have done it. I already have the
Mhm.
content, so I just have to press the Dropbox button, share.
Mhm.
For me, it's
Yeah,
really
good.
good because it's companies, they pay, so it's
Mhm.
really good. For me, takes almost no time.
Mhm.
I mean, everything takes more time than you want, but generally takes very little time. And Udemy, and they both
Mhm.
very strongly reinforce each other. It's not like random. When I make more courses on Udemy, I have more courses to sell to the corporate stuff, and vice versa. And when I improve courses, they sell better to the corporate. So anyway, so these are my only two areas of focus. So the point is that the books are like a tertiary focus, which if you in this conversation we're like, I had to stop revising these books. uh,
Mhm.
but in my mind, I'm like, there are some revisions that if I had time, which I don't, to fix the book, I would. But even without those revisions, that book is in a solid place.
Mhm. Love it, love it. You remind me about Seth Godin and Gary Vee. Let me explain why. Seth Godin,
I hope not by looks.
yeah, Seth Godin shared that he stopped reading reviews on Amazon on his books in 2011, like more than 10 years ago. And he replied about that because even one of the best books, Harry Potter, and has 2% of one-star review on Amazon, that this book is one of the worst book ever.
You know,
It-
I think people gonna hate me, but I think I would agree with this. I don't understand Harry Potter, but I had the same experience where I went to Shakespeare, and people say Shakespeare sucks. And like, no, Shakespeare doesn't suck. But Harry Potter maybe is like, I don't know. I don't know
oh,
about,
yeah. Yeah,
but
my wife disagrees with you, because she
everybody
loves
disagrees with
it.
me. Yeah, people like Harry Potter more than like Shakespeare, fine. But I still have to hold some principles dear.
Yeah, she loves Harry Potter, and he replied that why he doesn't want to read these reviews, because he doesn't want to know that someone dislikes his books. That's okay, you can't satisfy everyone, but he doesn't want to get this feeling, this negative feeling, because he gets a positive feeling from someone who loves his books. And Gary Vee shares the same approach, attitude about that he doesn't read negative comments, because his content, yeah, he has a lot of haters, many of them, I don't know the number, but a lot. And and he knows about that. That's okay, it's your way. Find someone else, learn from them. But he knows that million people love him, so he can help a million people others, and he doesn't want to satisfy a million haters, and he doesn't want to get this feeling that he has these haters as well. So I think it's a good idea to learn from customer feedback, but at that point when you have this level, uh, probably you don't need it. Yeah.
I guess, I mean, it's also like I sometimes don't completely trust. Seth Godin says he has the most like utmost high ideals, blah blah
Mhm.
blah blah blah. I don't know really what he does, and I don't know that he's always right. He's okay.
Yeah,
He's not. Um. Uh. I think
opinion. Yeah.
that I'm an adult. If I
Mhm.
read somebody's really bad review of me, like, yeah, it doesn't feel so great, but I'm not a child. Like, like it doesn't really hurt my feeling. It's like it doesn't like let's be realistic, okay? Like, I'm okay. Somebody says you suck. My day's the same. But somebody might say your book doesn't have enough examples, or your
Mhm.
example is not clear.
Mhm.
If one person says that, it's true. Like, probably the
Mhm.
examples could be better. And I find this more valuable. I think I'm not Gary Vee. I'm not, like that, like in that level. So for me, I cannot take that approach. I think it's a little arrogant. I
Mhm.
love Gary Vee. I love Seth Godin. I listen to them. I appreciate them. Like I really respect them. But in this, I'm not them. I have a lot of work to
Yeah.
do. And if my people that like me, if I ask them, they'll tell me things I already know that they like. I don't learn. You learn from your mistakes. You know, like you're a chess player. You learn from the games you lose because you go over them. You find your errors. You fix the errors. I think for me, is healthier. I think that's healthier,
Mhm.
a little bit more humble. And I think as soon as I'm arrogant and I'm like, oh, I only am good now and what I'm doing is right, I'm dead.
Yeah, got it.
That's the first day of that's the first step of the last whatever however you say it, but that's the beginning of the end.
Yeah, it's the best way to be yourself, and yeah, don't copy others.
Except you're
So
me.
if
I feel like whenever you meet, don't be yourself. Like, like do not be, like I like this music, like guys with guitar, like
uh-huh.
60s rock, and I make this music on YouTube and like nobody likes it. And I realized like don't be yourself. Like, you're the only one.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I think it's time, Alex. It's a big pleasure to get on my show to learn from you, to get all these valuable insights. Tell our audience how they can reach out to you, learn more about you, follow you.
Yeah, so it's alex at problemio.com or just problemio.com. All my contact information is there. And if you are a risk taker and you actually want to hear some of my music and you're not afraid of the pain, and it's like a passion project, it's touchedbyasong.com. I'll put it in the uh,
Okay,
it's only
very
for high
encouragement.
risk takers. Only if you're like really like brace
Uh-huh.
yourself, and you can, if you like this interview, I actually, big hobby, I write music, I write poetry, this kind of stuff, I really like it. I think it's not bad, but I think I'm the only one who thinks that. So for strong, strong, mentally strong heart, on a good mood, you can try my music. I will appreciate you write me a note. I'll say thank you.
Okay, guys. By the way, you can listen to this music and write hate comments because because it doesn't hurt Alex feelings.
I'll
So
reply. Yeah, write the bad comments on YouTube because I see them in my email. I'll reply there. We can have a exchange. I'll write some bad comments to you. No, I don't do
yeah.
that. I don't do that.
It's interesting when someone is writing bad comments. I can get more exposure. Better ranking
It's
positions.
true.
Yeah.
One funny story of this channel, like a long time ago, I wrote a song about anti-gun violence. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't do political stuff. I don't touch it. It's my only like political, barely political. But it was really about like something. It was something nice and hopeful. It was nothing bad. Okay. And then I started, and this song had like tens of thousands of views. And then I used to get comments all the time,
Mhm.
like, uh, "This song really inspired me to shoot more deer, to get more guns."
Yeah.
And I'm like, these guys really didn't listen to the song. But
Yeah.
that was the funny thing. Like, that comment. This really inspired me to shoot more because it was like anti-gun, but not. I don't know. Anyway, I think it was kind of funny.
Yeah, got it. Okay, guys, you can find all these links to Alex website, channel, books in the description below. Listen to us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again for your time. A big pleasure. Welcome back anytime to share more valuable insights with my audience, and see you guys.